Coming up on North Metro TV Sports Den, we go to the basketball court, adaptive floor hockey, plus plenty of wrestling. Sports Den is next. Stick around. Good evening and welcome to Sports Den here on North Metro TV. I'm JW Cox alongside Mary Peters, and tonight it is a packed show. We've got a lot to get to. We'll have a couple of coaches and captains features of a variety of sports, plus a lot of girls basketball, the emphasis on that, and we'll take a look at what's coming up in sectional play for girls hockey. But before we get too far along in this episode of Sports Den, a lot of devotees of the show will notice that we've certainly been a man down since the first of the year, and that has been our co-host Jeff Dinsmore. Unfortunately, for a lot of us here and a lot of us out there in the listening audience to hear about this, Jeff did have a minor stroke at the first of the year, the beginning of last month, and so over this last 3 weeks or so, he's been going through rehabilitation. It's not the first time he's gone through that, but obviously it's not something that gets easier with time, so all of our thoughts are with Jeff. We wish him the best of luck. We know he's listening and watching, so we could potentially say, hey, Jeff, we're with you, we're behind you, and he knows that, and we hope to get him back on the show. We certainly miss him. My first broadcast with North Metro TV was with Jeff Dinsmore doing a softball matchup, so it's never the same when Jeff isn't around, and we hope to get him back here on Sports Den and on North Metro TV with us. But Mary, as we push on this episode, I mentioned it, plenty of girls basketball. They're coming down the stretch with some crucial games coming up. Yeah, they do. Rivalry came and went this December for the Centennial Cougars girls basketball team and the Bengals girls basketball team. So we are covering a game with them. So Friday night at the Blaine Fieldhouse, a streaking Bengals team welcomed in a Cougar club looking to avoid a slide. There was a missed shot on one end by Centennial that turned into a bucket by Mariah Pearson on the other end. The Bengals break the Cougar full court press to find Sharon Miller down low for an easy bucket. Miller got off to a slow start, but buckets like that helped her find her rhythm. The offense was falling for the Bengals. Allison Jablonski with a floating runner to put Blaine up with a little over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Back in to Miller going right over her right shoulder for the easy bucket. That was her go-to move for a majority of the night. Little bit of life for the Cougars as J.C. Girding, their top scorer, hits a bucket right before the buzzer. Girding had a low-scoring game in the first half, but gave the Cougars hope going into the locker room. The Bengals came out with an 8-0 start. Shot by Jablonski is a Play of the Week nominee. First you see Miller with the right hand. And then she's back at it with her left. Miller ended the game with 16 points that night. The Cougars tried to answer, as sophomore Sarah Groh drops in 2 of her 20 points for the night. Audra Wigan keeps the Bengals offense in a rhythm. She finished with 17 points. Girding got the layup and one, and made the free throw to pull the Cougars back within 10 with just over 4 to go. The Bengals have an answer as Pearson finds the bucket, coming off the bench with 5 points. This puts the Bengals back up by 12. Wigan seals the deal with another jumper. The Bengals win 67-60.
Our coach always tells us the first 2 minutes of the second half will define how the game's going to go. And that's really stuck with us. You know, we know if we come out confident and ready to go, we're not going to have an issue. We're going to play together. We're going to keep working. But if we come out flat, then we know that's when we got to get in gear. So we always try to win that first 2 minutes.
In the past 2 years, we've had a lot of problems with just girls having bad attitudes or, I don't know, just getting down on ourselves really fast. And I think that now we've been more confident, and I think that he's really liked that improvement. And in practice, we've been just going at it more and just, I don't know, we've just been doing better as a team and working together in general.
And then Centennial had another tough matchup against Hopkins. There's an early lob to Nia Holly. As Hopkins goes on a run to start the game, the Royals stretched out to a 21-2 lead with a 21-0 run. The Cougars break the run with some high-low as Sarah Grove finds Sarah Stapleton, started a 7-3 run for Centennial. Next time down, Paige Comer off the find from J.C. Girding for 3. The offense is moving well for the Cougars. The Hopkins, though, had answers. T.T. Starks finds Evelyn Knox in the corner for 3. The Cougars did stay closer. Over the final 10 minutes of the half, Hopkins only outscored them by 5. The second half, though, started poorly. Ashley Bates with the tip and the steal. The Hopkins top scorer had a slow first, but back-to-back transition buckets and a 4-0 run to put the Cougars up on their heels. With the game out of reach, more tough play for J.C. Girding, the Cougars' top scorer. She hits the triple, one of the few times she found open space. She ended the night with 11 points, but just too much Royals defense on the night. Holly with another steal, and she finishes. Double figures for her as Hopkins wins 82-43.
He liked a lot of the defensive pressure that we came out with. He liked us getting a lot of offensive rebounds and passing the ball really well.
We're trying to improve on our shot selection, taking good shots in the game, finishing around the rim, and our three-point shots. We've been emphasizing that in practice a lot lately.
And taking a look at the Centennial girls basketball schedule, they lost at Blaine, and then they had a loss against Hopkins. They have Andover next and Irondale, and then they finish at Elk River, which is first in Northwest Suburban Conference North Division.
As for the Blaine Bengal girls, you saw in that first highlight, they had the Centennial matchup. They did drop their next game against Edina at home. They'll take on Roseville, which is in first place in the Suburban East, a tough test. As Mary just mentioned, the Elks are still on the schedule, first place in the Northwest Suburban Conference, and they will have Coon Rapids coming up on the 13th, its 7th place team in the North.
Then taking a look at the Spring Lake Park girls basketball schedule, they had a loss to Champlin Park and then a loss at Irondale. They have Osseo next, which is going to be a tough game for them. They're second in the Northwest Suburban Conference West Conference, and then they have Maple Grove, which is first in the Northwest Suburban Conference West Conference, and they have Park Center at home.
Coming down the stretch of the season in girls basketball, the North standings in the Northwest Suburban, Blaine and Centennial right there in the middle. Cougars have had trouble in conference at just 2-4. Bengals are 3-3. Elk River on top at 6-0, and the Huskies have 6 wins as well.
And taking a look at the West, the Spring Lake Park Panthers are at the bottom at 0-7 in conference play and 2-18 overall. Maple Grove comes in at the top at 7-0 in conference play and 14-5 overall. And then we'll take a look at the boys basketball. So we had Blaine at Centennial. So with 3 straight losses against the teeth of their schedule, the Centennial Cougars boys basketball team needs a rivalry win in order to return to their form as they've been playing so far this season. But a Blaine team with 3 wins in their last 5 was out for revenge from a loss when the team met in December. Early Blaine bucket by Ben Schur had Blaine up early, 13-12. Tyler Peterson put Centennial up 15-13 with a 3. He is the leading scorer in the Northwest Suburban Conference with over 23 points per game. Connor Lund knocks down a 3. The Cougars got hot from behind the arch. That gave them a double-figure lead. Centennial always stresses defense as Peterson gets the steal and the dunk at the other end. Peterson ended the game with 22 points that night. There's more hot shooting by Alex Basin. 3 of his 10 points helped the Cougars go up 35-28 at the half. The Cougars come out of the locker room with a 9-0 run. Bryce Johnson knocks down a 3. Peterson is next with a deep shot outside the arc. And then Johnson, again from the corner, who ended the game with 13 points. And that run stretched the lead to 44-28. Off the Bengal miss, Basin finds Devin Fritz for the transition bucket. Blaine tries to crawl back. The bucket by Tim Leo gets them to within 7. With just under 2 minutes to go, Dakota Knuckle hits a 3. This was a familiar sight for Tyler Peterson as he ended the game at the free throw line.
And then we pulled away for a little bit. In the second half, we really pulled away in the beginning, hitting threes and making our shots and executing.
As a team, we pushed all together and finished it out, and we won the game. Yeah, we're 2-0 against Blaine this year, so it's pretty great.
Taking a look at the Centennial boys basketball schedule. So they had a win against Blaine, 63-55. They had a loss at Hopkins, which was 29-71. They have Andover at home, which is 5th in the Northwest Suburban Conference North, and they travel to Elk River, and then have Coon Rapids at home.
You take a look at Blaine on the boys basketball side. Off of those last 2 losses, they'll try and get it back together against Osseo, still with Elk River and Coon Rapids left on that schedule.
For the Spring Lake Park boys basketball, they had a loss to Fridley and then a loss against Irondale. They traveled to Osseo, which is 3rd in the Northwest Suburban Conference West, and they are at Maple Grove and at Park Center on Tuesday.
As we close the month in the Northwest Suburban Conference standings, Centennial, they are the 2nd place team, tied with Elk River. Blaine right behind those 2 at 4-4, both putting together strong runs here at the end of the year.
And taking a look at the West, Maple Grove leads at 9-0 and 18-3 overall. Armstrong follows close behind at 6-1. Spring Lake Park is 2-6 in conference play and 5-17 overall.
The Centennial Cougars girls hockey team, they went through 9 straight wins to close out their regular season, and now they are on the verge of going into sectional play, the #1 seed. With their playoff story yet to be written for 2014-2015, our coach and captain's team takes a look at those Cougars.
It's starting off a little slow, but I'm sure it'll start picking up. We've played some pretty hard teams, which is good competition, and we need it.
Well, so far our season hasn't really gone how we planned, but we're looking to change it in the next few games coming up.
My season started off a little rough. We had a few games that we wish would have gone the other way, but we're looking to improve the season.
Obviously our goal is to make it to state, but we gotta start from the bottom, so keep winning games from here and do well in sections and keep going from there.
I mean, hockey's a great game. It's a fun game, and as long as they have fun every day and understand that everything is about the team and they understand their roles, that's what matters. Every year we go into it, we want to, at the end, progress to the point where we win our section and go to state. Obviously, that's the end goal, as most teams have that goal, but we want to get better each and every game, so we just set minor goals to get better, not only at practice but in the game. So we just want to be the best that we can be come the end of the year.
Some of our goals are to work together as a team and just make sure we're working as a unit and making good passes.
My personal goals for this year are just to be a good leader, a good role model, just work my hardest every game on and off the ice.
My personal goals is to hopefully get a little better goals against average, but keep trying to keep the team up and help our team out along the way.
Ultimately, we would love to make it to state, but I think just our ultimate goal is to become a team and do the best that we possibly can and just go out there and have fun every single day, because that's what high school sports are about. Up front scoring right now a lot is Gabby Hughes, a freshman, Annika Winser. She's also a freshman. They've both been putting in a lot of points this year. On D, Haley Loveland has stepped up a lot alongside Jessica Baselug. And then Andy Juergens and net is doing good for us too.
As youth players, we went to state every year, and now we just gotta keep that composure going.
This year I would like to be all-conference again. I was all-conference honorable mention last year, so all-conference this year would be really cool. And just as a team to make it to state and to be a leader, I guess, of that team.
I love the sport of hockey. out of all of the great relationships you make with your teammates and just the adrenaline rush.
I love the sport of hockey because we live in Minnesota and it's the best sport out there, and I've been playing it since I could skate pretty much.
I love the sport of hockey because it's fast and it's upbeat, but just because it's such a close-knit group and the season is so long, so I get to spend a huge chunk of the year with these girls.
Make sure your partner's backing you up and you shoot right into their shoe cap. Yep. Yeah. Very good.
People should come out and watch our team because it's a very fast-paced game. We're always buzzing up and down the ice. Just good, fun game to watch.
We're a fun team. We work hard. We play Cougar hockey, and I think the girls obviously put on a lot of entertainment, and you can tell that they connect both on and off the ice, and it makes it fun to watch. So, and we also love the community, so come out and support us.
People should come out and watch us play because we need the encouragement, and it's a fun, fast-paced game.
It's fun, it's fast. We're girls hockey. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come out? For the Girls Hockey Northwest Suburban Conference, Maple Grove's at the top with 17-0 in conference play. Centennial Cougars are right behind them at 14-3-1. Blaine comes in 4th at 12-5-1, and Spring Lake Park is in 6th at 8-9 in conference play.
The brackets for Section 5, you see the big matchup early. That'll be Blaine, Spring Lake Park, St. Anthony Village, trying to move on to the semis against either Mounds View or Coon Rapids. And it will be Centennial taking on Anoka or Rogers. That game will be decided later tonight. Before we head to break, as always, trivia question. We'll give you last week's answer on the other side. This week's question: which of our 3 schools has had the most players in the NHL? Which of our 3 schools that we cover, Blaine, Centennial, Spring Lake Park, for hockey, have had the most teams go, or most players rather, go to the NHL? That next week. Answer to last week's on the other side. Stick around.
The Hampton Inn & Suites in Lino Lakes is conveniently located off 35W at exit number 36, just 20 minutes away from both downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul. While you're here on business, enjoy Hampton's first-class amenities. Hampton offers a swimming pool, spa and sauna, fitness center, a state-of-the-art meeting room, free high-speed internet, complimentary breakfast, and our corporate shuttle will get you where you need to go. Hampton Inn & Suites, Lino Lakes. We love having you here.
Back with you on North Metro TV, and we promised you an answer to last week's trivia question, which dealt with the all-time leading scorer in Centennial girls basketball. Well, she used to sit right here, or maybe down at the end there, and it was indeed Megan Knipe, who's the all-time leading scorer at Centennial High School, and that fact confirmed by Megan Knipe herself. So you don't get much more confirmation than that. After a hard-fought 2-2 performance in a multi-meet 2 weekends ago, the Centennial Cougars wrestling team was looking to keep the roll going and looking for another win as the Andover Huskies came to town on Thursday. With 13 wins, the Cougars are just outside the top 15 in the state heading into their final 2 duels. Off the start, Jack Berglund against Ryan Grant at 113. Up 21-7, Berglund makes a move for a pin. Now, this move right there actually put him up 21-7. This, the move for the pin, he nearly got it, but instead settles for 3 on the near fall and a 24-7 major victory. Lots of forfeits in this one for Andover. It was never really in doubt who was actually going to take the team win in this matchup. Up next at 138, Bailey Ludwig. Early on in the match, a quick 2 with the sweep of the leg to grab those 2 points, and then later a Play of the Week nominees. He gets the clean escape, all but decided he would find 2 more, ending up with a 12-2 major decision late there in the third. At 145, Chris Mulberry against Graham Brown. Mulberry turns Brown around, grabs the 2 points, and ekes out a 4-2 decision eventually. Again, it's all Cougars at this point. First pin of the night, that's John Knoll at 160 against Brandon Oberhammer. Knoll finally sticks him, gets the leverage for the pin. They're just under a minute to left in the second. Again, it was a night of major decisions, but that's the first pin. All Cougars at this point with those multiple forfeits. So we go to 170. That's Noah Benson against Brady Peterson. The early lead bounces Peterson again for 2 more, so he's up 6-0 in the third. Midway gets another nice move, would get 2 more points as he holds on at the edge of the mat here. Ends up with an 8-0 major decision win. Finally, in the last actual contested match of the night at 195, Dorian Tapia versus Dakota Hawk. Tapia dominant early with the 2-0 lead, plus 3 more on a near fall. 3 more would come seconds later for Tapia with a good stick and hold. He's up 8-0 after the first, late in the third, just kind of nursing the lead to a 14-1 major decision. 56-12, the final tally in favor of the Centennial Cougars, as again they take the victory and the Cougars go to 14 victories, and we mentioned it off the top, they are just outside the top 15 in the boys wrestling standings, trying to claw their way back with just 1 more duel to go. A bit of a special look at a sport that we don't always get to cover here on North Metro TV and Sports Den, with Anoka Hennepin against North Metro in adaptive floor hockey. With the adaptive floor hockey season just 5 games old, North Suburban already becoming a dominant squad this year, turning into practically a juggernaut with double-digit wins in their first 4 and just 9 total goals allowed. They're riding high against Anoka Hennepin, and early on we go to the action. First goal, Anthony Bankston puts in the shot, and the sophomore has his squad up by 10. Quiet, though, throughout the rest of the period thanks to that young man. Nick Powers in goal, had the quick pad save there to keep it 1-0. He's been a big part of that great start. Again, just 9 goals allowed over the first 5 games. Gets another save as he's tested inside of 3 minutes to go in the first. Makes the stop. He was 9 of 9 in net in the first. But on the other end, though, Jaden Chamberlain, you'll get a second look at this one. A high shot, and he's able to snow cone this one right out to his right. There was some good sportsmanship on the tip of the cap on that save as well. But anything he can do, Powers says, well, I can do it better. He turns away another shot, 19 for his first 19 in stops through 2 periods. But how about the scoring? It got started and went downhill quickly. Jonathan Caliendo, the sophomore, fired up after he gets the 2-0 goal. He wasn't done, neither was Bankston, as they'd come back. And the third goal, well, it's Bankston. Gets the little ricochet, he's right in the high slot and able to slam it home, and a fist pump, why not? It's 3-0 at this point, still late in the second. They would spread the goal scoring around just a bit. Josh Heyman, a great reversal, which you'll see again and is a Play of the Week nominee, slaps the shot forward in past Chamberlain for a 4-0 lead. You'll look at that one once more later on in the show for Josh Hammond. 4-0 still, and we said it got out of hand quickly. There's Caliendo again, barely had the puck to him. The backhand, he was a little more muted on that celebration, but just as big of a goal as they are up 5-0. And this is literally just 30 seconds later. He's on the doorstep, knows where to be, and he finds the back of the net again. His third, he'd also in the night with an assist. That's Jonathan Caliendo, giving North Suburban a 6-0 lead. More shots turned away, but then finally a goal comes past Powers. He stopped the first 24, making the first 23 shots he saw. The 24th finally beats him, but at that point it's academic as it's 6-1. It will get even further out of hand as the 7th goal of the night scored by Bankston again. His third at that point as Bankston finishes with the 3 goals to match Caliendo. More of the same as far as the characters, with Powers making a good save, coming right at the point there. He would finish the night 24 of 25. Outstanding in net for him, and easy as you please, almost like he wasn't even trying, but an outstanding night. Back the other way comes Heyman, his second goal. Had to go a little further for that one, not quite as fancy on the stick work, but he gets it to go. So sitting there at 8-1, Garrett Keene off the bench. He finds his goal, and he couldn't be happier about it as he gets the love from his teammates and a 9-1 lead. Just 2:30 to go, but still not done. Double figures in all but one of their first 5, and they'd make it another with the goal from Alia Cummings. 10-1 the final as North Suburban gets another big victory, and they just continue to roll. Mary, as you look at boys hockey as well, they're coming down the stretch. We're into sectionals in girls hockey. Before you know it, we'll be into sectionals for boys hockey. For our three teams, starting with Centennial, what they've got coming up, take a look at Champlain Park and Irondale in the rearview mirror. 2 wins for Centennial boys hockey as they've been rolling of late. Coon Rapids, Armstrong, and Spring Lake Park also left on the schedule.
And taking a look at the Blaine boys hockey schedule, they beat Andover 3-2. They won against Osseo 5-0. They have Duluth East next, Coon Rapids, and then they travel to Armstrong Cooper on Monday, February 9th.
Spring Lake Park, as they look to finish the season strong, it's Maple Grove, Anoka, and Centennial the next 3. Maple Grove 4th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. We'll have details on where you can see that one. Hint, hint, right here on North Metro TV coming up on Thursday. Saturday against Anoka, the Tornadoes are 3rd in the Northwest Suburban Conference North. Speaking of those standings in the West, it's the Elks at 11-1 in North Division play. The Bengals right there at 8-3-1. Nobody hotter than the Blaine Bengals perhaps at this point. Then Anoka, then Centennial at 6-6.
And taking a look at the West, Spring Lake Park is right in the middle at 7-3 in conference play. Totino Grace leads the conference at 8-2. And Osseo comes in second at 7-2-1. And this weekend, the dance section tournament will begin across the state. And then by mid-February, we will have our state champions in the dance. And so our coach and captains feature will give you a closer look at the Centennial Cougars dance program.
This is my 4th year on the team, and this is by far my favorite year. All the competitions so far have been perfect, and all the girls are happy with their scores, and we're only going to get better from here.
So you can see the entire coaches and captains feature with Centennial Dance soon on our Facebook, or excuse me, on our YouTube and webpage, northmetrotv.com, and our YouTube page as well. All of our coaches and captains up there in HD.
Yeah, and then taking a look at the games that we have coming up next. We actually have a boys hockey doubleheader this Thursday. Let's see, Maple Grove and Spring Lake Park, and then Duluth East and Blaine.
Also coming up on Monday, Centennial and Spring Lake Park boys hockey. That'll be a 7:30 live matchup that you can catch here on North Metro TV, and we will have sectional play in 5A in the semifinals that'll come up on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. Your athlete of the week was Easton Brodzinski for the Blaine Bengals. The forward had 5 goals over the last 2 games, 1 assist as well. He's had a goal in 3 straight. Brodzinski on a roll, as are the Bengals. We've nominated our top plays. Now time to meet out which ones will fall where. Number 3, we go back to wrestling. Bailey Ludwig, a nifty escape as he seems to be tied up here in his match, but then turns the tables quickly and got 2 quick points out of that. Eventually won the decision in his bout. It all comes down to that escape right there. That is play number 3. Number 2, back to the hardwood, Allison Jablonski. Going baseline and then finishing with the reverse layup. You get the look from the baseline at the pretty finish, and also from the top. Jablonski, a good game there against the Cougars and a great finish. But none better than the stick work we mentioned here of Josh Hammond. Adaptive floor hockey, you just saw the highlights. Hammond with the sweep as he put it from backhand to forehand and nets the goal. He ended up with 2 and our top play of the week. And Mary, as we always say at the end of these broadcasts when it comes down to who we're rooting for, go Panthers, go Bengals, and go Cougars, as always. Thanks so much for watching Sports Den. We'll be back next week. Good night, everybody. Hey, we're miles ahead last week.